Good evening, children. In today's class, we are going to study the next concept is factors affecting irrigation requirements of crops. See, in last class, we have studied what is irrigation and irrigation techniques and all. Correct? So, in today's class, we are going to study what are the factors affecting irrigation. Understanding what are the factors affecting irrigation requirements of crops. Understood? So the irrigation requirements, or else what is the meaning of irrigation? Irrigation means water requirements. Water requirements or else irrigation requirements, both are same. So the irrigation requirements of crops depends on three factors. In that, the first one is nature of the crop, means which the crop type of crop which we are going to cultivate. Nature of the crop. Understood? Like that. The next one is nature of the soil. Nature of the soil. Like the next one is season. So these are the three factors which are affecting irrigation requirements of crops. Understood? So here if you'll see that each crop need a specific amount of water during the various stages of its growth and ripening. Means till from the sowing means planting the seeds or planting the small plants. Sowing stage to harvesting stage. So in the different stages, the different amount of water is required for a particular type of crops. Like that, various crops require various amount of water in their various stages of its growth and ripening. So some crops need more water, whereas some other kind of crops requires less water. So what is the meaning? Some crops, if you want to cultivate them, they require a large amount of water to grow and even to the ripening stage also. And a few crops, they will grow with less water, means they required less water. Suppose for example, if you take paddy crop. So what is the meaning of paddy? Paddy means rice crop. Paddy. So paddy means rice crop is transplanted in standing water and requires a continuous irrigation, whereas other crops like wheat, gram means what? Chana, and including is like a cotton seeds, etc., do not require such, understand, it requires so much of water like paddy crop. Understand? So this paddy crop is, we need to see somewhere in a small area, we just first we all will sowing the seeds of rice. Later it will growing, means the seeds will germinate. Later we will transplanted this transplanted in standing water. Understand? This all small plants will remove from that particular area and will split it into a larger distance. We are transplanted in that also. What water needs to be stagnant, means a standing water is required, and continuous irrigation means continuous supply of water must be for growing of rice crop like paddy, rice or paddy. So if you take other crops like wheat, gram and cotton, they do not require so much of water like rice. So suppose if you take for cereals crops like wheat, irrigation is needed at only 3 stages. Understanding? Particularly if you take wheat cultivation. Understanding? Like a cereal. Wheat is a cereal. Correct or not? Rice is also cereal. Like, understanding? Cereal crops like wheat, irrigation is needed at only 3 stages. How many stages? 3 stages. So remaining all is okay, because it will grow with less water itself. So first stage is before plowing the field. Understand? Before plowing, means before plowing we have to keep water for the field, plowing the field. So this is the stage 1. Next, after all the time of flowering. Understanding? So if when at the time of flowering, and like that, the next stage is at the time of development of grain. At the time of development of development of grain. So in these three stages, if we'll provide enough water, then we'll get the wheat crop. In remaining stages, even though if it is less water also, it can adjust and it can grow. So that is why for several crops like wheat, irrigation is needed at only three stages. One is before plowing the field, at the time of flowering, and at the time of development of grain. So there are two important types of soils in which the crops are grown, that is sandy soil and clayey soil. So we know that sandy soil and clay soil and loamy soil, types of soils which we have studied in class 7th soil chapter. So a sandy, so we are having two important types of soils in which the crops are grown, that is sandy soil and clay soil. So the crops grown in a sandy soil need irrigation more frequently. Understanding? So we are having here majorly two kinds of field agriculture lands, that is sandy soil. One is what? Sandy soil, and like that clay soil. Clay soil. So if we'll take first type of soil, if we'll take the crops grown in sandy soil, what is sandy soil need, understanding, irrigation more frequently. Need irrigation means supplying of irrigation more frequently. More frequently. Whereas the frequency of irrigation for the crops grown in a clay soil is comparatively less. Comparatively less, because clay soil can hold more water amount compared to the sandy soil. So if you cultivate any kind of crop in sandy soil, it's like a frequent irrigation is required. If it comes to the clay soil, not required frequently. Compared to the sandy soil, it is less. So even this can be explained very clearly, like suppose if we'll take sandy soil is highly porous because particles are very big in size, they're not tightly packed. So they're highly porous, having high permeability. Understanding? So when we irrigate the crops standing in a sandy soil, then water quickly percolates. Understanding? Means passes through that. Percolation rate, we have studied in class 7. Percolation rate, liter per minute. Liter per minute. So here what is going to happen? They are very highly porous, having high permeability. So when we irrigate the crops standing in a sandy soil, then water quickly percolates down the soil and the crop plants are not able to absorb. Understanding? So whatever the water will fall in sandy soil, which will be absorbed by the earth fastly. So it is not quickly. Understanding? What is going to happen? Irrigate the crops in sandy soil, the water quickly percolates down to the soil and the crops plants do not able to absorb a required amount of water. They cannot absorb required absorb amount, what is required amount of water. So due to the poor water retaining capacity, means holding capacity, retaining capacity means holding capacity of the sandy soil, the crops cultivated in sandy soil needed more frequent irrigation. More frequent irrigation. Like that, if it comes to a clay soil, understanding? So clay soil is much less permeable than sandy soil. So due to which it can retain a more amount of water for a longer time. Understand? We have already studied in class 7 what is the difference between clay soil, loamy soil and sandy soil. So here a clay soil is what? It is having a much holding capacity. So it can hold a lot of, it is less permeable, and that can compared to the sandy soil, due to which it can retain water for a much longer time. So when the crop grown in a clay soil is irrigated, understanding, if we'll do the irrigation, the water remains in the soil for a longer time. Understanding? And hence the plants can absorb this water in adequate amount. So due to a better water retaining capacity of the clay soil, the crops cultivated in clay soil need irrigation less frequently. Less frequently. Are you understanding? So due to this reason, it is happening. So what, that is why in less frequently we have to keep the water for the, Understanding? Water for this kind of crops which you are growing in this clay soil. Understood? So, like that, if it comes to the frequency of irrigation of crops also varies from season to season also. Not only the type of soil. Another reason is what? Season to season. So in some seasons, no need to keep much water. Season to season also, it is changed. So if you'll observe, what is going to happen? The frequency of irrigation or watering of the crops is higher in summer seasons. Because summer season evaporation rate is more. So in summer season, understanding. So what is going to happen? We have to keep the water more frequently, regularly. Because during the hot days of summer, the rate of evaporation of water from the soil and the leaves also, means plant leaves. Plant leaves, what is the process? Evaporating water from the plant leaves is called as transpiration. We have studied in class 7. Transpiration means evaporating water from excess water from the plant leaves is called as transpiration. So during hot days, means summer, evaporation of water from the soil also and the leaves of crops plants is also increased. So because of this, the crops is higher in understanding frequently. What we can say, that the frequency of irrigation means with a regular period of time we have to supply the water to that particular crop. Understanding, like that, if it comes to the frequency of irrigation or else watering of crops is comparatively lower in the colder or winter seasons. Winter or rainy season also. Winter or rainy season and rainy season also. So it is less. Correct or not? Yes. So this is about the factors affecting irrigation requirements of crops. Now we'll go for the next concept is what are the sources of irrigation. So this is the most important one because irrigation means what? Watering the crops. So if you want to understanding keep the water for the any kind of crop, we need to get that water. Means we need to get that water from where? Somewhere. So that is only wherever we are receiving the water to keep the crops. Understanding? So that is only called as sources of irrigation. Understanding? Means the availability of water is called as source. So we know that next concept is what? Sources. Sources of irrigation. So if we take here, crops are supplied water for irrigation from different sources, like we know that rivers, because ocean water we cannot use. Correct or not? Rivers. Understanding? Canals, like wells. Understood? We'll take tube wells. Understood? Tube wells. And if we'll take dams. So dams means also we can call it as what? Reservoirs. Reservoirs. Understood? And ponds, lakes. So these are the what? Sources of water or sources of irrigation. Now even you can take the major source in India. Most of the India is an agriculture based family. So even we can depend on even our South India. Most of the states they are depending on a main source of irrigation, that is rain is a source of irrigation of so many crops. So rain is the biggest source. Even this all kind of water sources, they are all completely depend on rain. Understand? Because rain is a major source of this also. So even rain is a source of irrigation of crops. So the water available in wells, lakes and canals is lifted up by different methods in different regions for taking it to the fields. If you'll go to olden days, we used to use some kind of machinery to load the water from wells or tube well lakes to upper and to keep the fields, to keep that water to the fields. We're using a different kind of traditional methods, understanding, and even advanced methods nowadays. We are using the tube rigs, cut or not, tube wells where we are digging Understanding? Tube rigs we can call them. We are keeping some kind of power system, pump system, and without any kind of man work, we are pumping the water from underground to surface of earth. Correct or not? But if you go to olden days, we're having a different kind of traditional methods of irrigation. In that we know that you can see that majorly pulley system. Correct or not? So pulley system in the sense of like if you take most of the days in olden days, every house is also having a small well in their what we can say where they are cultivating in their garden. So in their garden, what they are used to do, they are having some kind of pulley system. It's like some kind of well. So some kind of well will be. So here to understanding. So here they used to get some kind of pulley. Cut or not? So here from this pulley, what is going to happen? They will hang some kind of bucket. So this bucket, if you release this thread, understanding means here one person will be standing. So if you release this thread, this bucket will go inside and it will fill the water which is present very deep inside the well. Again, if you try to pull the rope, here you are leaving the thread and you are trying to again pull the thread. Understand? Sorry, push the thread. So what is going to happen? The thread, if you are trying to pull the thread backward, then this bucket, it will be lifted along with the water. So this is one of the traditional method which we are using olden days, means taking the water from the wells by using a pulley system. So here one pulley will be there, which is in a circular, understanding. It's like a spherical shape. Understand? So from this rope will be passing. So we can easily will lift the bucket easily. That is why we are using this pulley system. So if we will try to leave the thread, the rope will go inside and it will pick the water from the well. And again, if you will try to pull, what is going to happen? Along with the bucket, water also we can lift from the well. So like that, if we'll go, if we'll take, we are having a different various traditional methods of irrigation. That first one is moat. What we used to call moat. So you just keep heading various traditional methods of irrigation. So the first method is what? The first method is what? Moat. So moat means M-O-A-T. Moat means by using a pulley system. Pulley system. Understanding? So next one is like one after one we'll study, one after one we'll study very clearly, even including diagram. And like chain pump. What do we used to call? Chain pump. I will explain you everything clearly with the diagram. Understanding? Chain pump, like Dekli. What we used to call? Dekli. These are the traditional methods. And the last one is olden days. If I'll explain you with the diagram, you can understand it clearly. Like that, Rahat. Understanding? What is Rahat? Rahat means lever system. Lever system. See, these all are very, very important. Understanding? Because we need to know our traditional methods. Understand? So let me come to first one. We'll study in today's class. We'll study what is moat or else pulley system. Next class, like one after one, we'll study everything in detail. Okay. So let me come to moat. So MOAT moat means in the moat system of irrigation, water is drawn out or taken out from a well by using a big container tied to a long rope. See, just now I have explained in a house, in our garden, how we can pick the water, how we can draw water, take the water from the well, like that same way. But here, instead of our hard work, bull, some kind of bull we can use to, understanding, release the bucket inside the well and again to draw the bucket outside the well. Bull will come back, understanding, again will go forward, come back, like that I will explain you the diagram now. Let me see. It's like what? A moat is a system of irrigation. Water is drawn out from a well by using a big container. It's like a one big bowl, understanding, container tied to a long rope which moves over a pulley fixed at one edge of the well. Fixed at one edge of the well. Understanding? So for this, the rope tied to a container is usually pulled by animals such as bullock, means buffalo, or any kind of cow, ox or camel. So when the rope is pulled at the free end, understanding, free end, the container filled with water, understanding, and tied at the other end of rope comes out of the well. Comes out of the well, which is tied to what? Animal. Understanding? So the farmer pours out water from the, understanding, water from the container into the fields and lowers empty container back into the well to get it refilled. So this process will be continuous. So the water filled container again comes out of the well when the bullock pulls the rope, and this process is repeated to get continuous supply of water for irrigation. Understanding? So what I am saying here, for this we are having some kind of wells. So we know that I will draw you the diagram. So what is going to happen? Like, let me consider today's class we will study only moat. So if you take moat, so we know that we are having some kind of well. This is what well. So now here we used to having a big kind of part kind of substance which is tied to a big rope. Understanding? So here we are having some kind of pulley system. Understanding? We are having some kind of pulley system. So which is this rope is tied to this. Understand? So now this rope, one side we are tying with what? Drawn out by using a tied along a rope with a moose or a pulley fixed at one edge of the well. We have to keep what? In this, the rope tied to container. This is called as container. So this container, one side we are tying with this rope, one side we are tying the big container, and another side we will tie to some kind of bullock. Understanding? Some kind of bullock. You just imagine here, bullock is present. Bullock is present. Now, understanding? So it's like a what? Some kind of bullock. You just, if you want, you can draw some kind of animal, any kind of shape. You know that I'm poor in diagrams. You just try to draw. Understanding? So some kind of a bullock. Okay. So I'm trying to draw a little bit. I know that. So you just imagine and draw. Understanding? Okay, so it is not good. You just try to draw. I hope. Okay, so what is going to happen? This one side of the rope is tied to the bullock neck, and another side is for the container. Now here if you'll observe, what is going to happen? The rope tied to a container is usually pulled by animals like any kind of bullock. Understanding? Buffalo or camel. So when the rope is pulled at the free end, means this side, whatever we are tying to the animal. Understanding? So this will be pulled by the any kind of this bullock. What is going to happen? This container filled with water. Initially, this bull will come back. So automatically what is going to happen? This thread will go inside. So inside means along with the container. So now this container will go inside and it will be filled with what? Water. Now, again after filling the water, understand, here one person will be standing because he need to again this after filling this container, once it will comes to upper surface, he need to pour that water outside. Understanding? He need to pour this water outside for the field, and again he need to leave that container because bull don't know. So that is why he need to leave that container into the well. Then only the bull will come backwards. Understanding? So once this bull will come backward, automatically this container will go inside because the person will keep this container inside. Now it will be refilled with water. So what is going to happen? He will give you instruction that to allow the bull go forward direction. So if this bull will go start moving forward direction, what is going to happen? Automatically this container come upwards along with the water because it will refill with water again. So now this container, this person will take and he will pour into the out of the well, and again he will leave that container inside the well. Now what is going to happen? Again this bull will come back. So this container will filled with water. So again this bull will start moving forward. So what is going to happen? Again this container will come up of the well along with the water. So the person who is standing here, he will turn that container and will pour the water out of the well. So like this process will be continuously he will repeat it to drain the more water. Understanding. So this is the first traditional method of irrigation, that is called as pulley system. So here one pulley we are using. This is called as pulley system. That is why it is called as pulley system. Understanding. So by using this pulley system, we can draw the water. Understand? So this is only called as moat or else pulley system. So with this, I'm going to end this today's session. Next class, we are going to study remaining traditional methods like a chain pump. Understanding? And also we have studied what? Next one is what? Dekli and Rahat. Rahat means what? Lever system. Okay. So the lever system. So this all we'll study in next class. Thank you. Prepare well.